Hi, I'm Amanda Orlando and welcome to my channel. Let's talk about San Marzano tomatoes and how to make a really amazing San Marzano tomato sauce. Are San Marzano tomatoes worth it? How do you find them? What are they? Let's talk about the basics first. So San Marzano refers to a type of tomato. It's actually a variety of tomato, not a brand of tomato. So it is available from so many different brands, and I just have a sampling here of some of the ones that I found in my local grocery stores, and these are 3 brands that I very regularly use. I will include a link to my video on how to make a roasted San Marzano tomato sauce from fresh tomatoes up here. You can click it and watch it, it's a great video. The reason that they're known to make the best sauce is because they are dense and pulpy. They're also very dense with flavor. So they just make this incredibly rich, beautiful sauce, and that's why they're so sought after. They do tend to run a little bit more expensive than a plum tomato. So whereas these cans of regular plum tomatoes were about $1.99 to $2.50, these cans of tomatoes are generally $3.99, sometimes up to $7.99 if you get the very fancy San Marzano tomatoes. And they really are incredible, so I highly recommend you try them out if you haven't before. If you're uncertain whether the tomatoes you're buying are San Marzano or not, I will tell you that when a tomato is San Marzano, the company usually likes to make sure you know. So it's going to be very clearly labeled as San Marzano. If you are a San Marzano aficionado, then you probably noticed that the moody tomatoes I have are actually not a San Marzano tomato, but they are a 100% Italian tomato imported from Italy, and I would say that they are interchangeable, honestly, with any of the other San Marzano brands. The density and the pulpiness and just the richness of it is just so beautiful, but this brand also does make a San Marzano variety. Brands say San Marzano type tomatoes, or here when it's just whole tomatoes. These are still great tomatoes. I buy them. I just don't use them for making sauce, but I use them for other things. And they're still great tomatoes, but it's not gonna give you the same type of sauce that the San Marzano is gonna give you. So I use these more in soups or stews or other types of things where it's not just pure tomato. Now let's make some sauce. You're going to need a couple cloves of garlic, some fresh basil. You'll need some dried oregano. I'm going to use some doppio concentrato tomato paste. This is also different than the regular tomato paste that you find in cans. This is a specific type of Italian tomato paste where it's actually concentrated tomato. So when you look at the color, you'll see shortly, it is much richer and I would say like intensely flavored than a regular tomato paste. Again, I do cook with regular tomato paste, I just don't use it for this particular dish. And then you'll need some good olive oil. I like to make my sauce in a stainless steel pan. This is ideal for 1 can of tomatoes. As soon as I do a second can of tomatoes, then I'll use either a larger, deeper pan, or I might use a small pot. But I prefer for mine to have the larger surface area. So I'm gonna start out by putting this on medium heat, and I'm going to add a few good glugs of olive oil. Next, I'm going to cut up a few cloves of garlic. My mom hammered into us from an early age that we should always buy local garlic because we grow so much garlic in Ontario. So I'm kind of incapable of buying garlic from anywhere else. But wherever you are, try to buy local garlic if you can. I have 3 cloves of garlic in about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and they're just cooking on a low-medium heat. I don't want them to brown, and I absolutely do not want the olive oil or the garlic to burn, so I'm keeping a very close eye on it. While this might seem like a lot of olive oil, you actually do need a good amount of fat to break down and balance out the acidity in the sauce, and it is going to give it a really rich, beautiful texture. Now that the garlic is starting to smell really fragrant and the olive oil is heated, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of my tomato paste, and then mix it around with a fork or a spatula. I'm going to add a couple teaspoons of dried oregano. At this point, the tomatoes are whole and they're sitting in a puree of their own juices. So I'm going to just use a large dinner fork to break them up into smaller pieces. After 45 minutes, I'm just gonna check on it. Bubbling away nicely, and it smells much more tomatoey. It smells really good. In fact, the whole house smells like tomato right now in the best possible way. And now I'm gonna let it simmer for another 45 minutes uncovered. Fast forward a little bit and now my sauce has been cooking for an hour and a half and it is super rich and smells incredible. So I'm going to put on the water for my pasta. Today I'm gonna do a little spaghettini and just keep it really simple, and I will show you how to finish off this beautiful dish. Be sure to adjust the salt as you're cooking. You don't wanna go the entire time without tasting it. Make sure you taste it throughout the process so that you can keep adjusting the salt as necessary. Those little caramelized bits around the edges, that's what you really, really want. Those are beautiful bits of flavor. I'm going to roughly tear up basil. I'm adding it right at the end so that it maintains nice shape and color. And you can just add however much you like. I like a lot of basil, as you can see. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you go out and make some amazing San Marzano tomato sauce. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more great videos like this. Bye. Now what am I gonna do with all these extra tomatoes I opened?